we are back. So if you like these videos, be sure to like, subscribe if you are new to the channel. And don't forget to hit the bell at the top to get all notifications with Wonder Woman, right? Last time, she had a climactic battle with Tetracide, that giant monster whose hypnotic screams turned people into mindless puppets, luring them straight into its moth-like mouth. That scene took place right in the wilderness of Gateway City, Wonder Woman's home turf in the Absolute Universe. You know, Gateway City is not just a modern city with skyscrapers, but also where she first really felt the vibrancy of earthbirds flying, wild animals running, things that, to someone from literal hell like her, were completely foreign and a little scary. Remember? Diana was born on Themyscira, the island of the Amazons. But in the Absolute Universe, things took a darker twist. She wasn't used to the cuteness of nature. Instead, she sends the birds and beasts on scouts, looking for her remaining sisters, the Amazons, who might have lost their way on Earth. That's been her biggest obsession since arriving here, finding a way home, or at least finding some of her own kind, so she won't feel alone in a world full of superheroes and monsters. Tetracide is just a side quest, a small challenge to train, but it opens the door to bigger problems, and Veronica Cale is the key. If you've been following Absolute Evil, that great introductory series, Veronica Cale isn't a new character. She's part of the Absolute Justice League, which is, to put it bluntly, just a fancy name for a gang of supervillains whose members are arch-enemies of some superhero in this universe. For Wonder Woman, Veronica is her destined opponent, a manipulative, cunning person who always uses intelligence to compensate for physical strength. And this time, she's not working alone. Veronica is teaming up with Dr. Poison, a classic name from the DC archive, but remixed in an extremely sinister way by the Absolute Universe. Dr. Poison? Oh, this character has a long history. First appearing in Sensation Comics number 2 inches, 1942, created by William Moulton Marston, the father of Wonder Woman. The original version was a mad scientist, specializing in creating poison gas and chemical weapons in the style of World War II, with a monstrous mask and a sick passion for poison. But it wasn't until 1999's post-crisis that we got the more familiar female version, a mad scientist, often relegated to B-list villain status, because Wonder Woman didn't have the iconic villains of Batman and the Joker, or Spider-Man and the Green Goblin. Wonder Woman was more like Iron Man. Her enemies were usually one-offs, one-hit wonders, gone without leaving a lasting impression. Dr. Poison was C-list, largely because she lacked depth until the Absolute Universe. What elevated Dr. Poison here was the twist. She wasn't human anymore. In this universe, Dr. Poison exists as a completely immaterial gaseous entity, a floating cloud of poison, reminiscent of the mustard gas experiments of old, but now far more supernatural. She can slip through any cracks, poisoning the air without touching her victims. And Veronica Cale? She needs that to complete her plan. Remember Tetracide's scream? Veronica recorded it and cloned it, turning it into a sonic trap to lure the masses not to eat them like the monster, but to control them. To use them as pawns in a larger game of power. Make no mistake, this isn't some epic War of the Worlds or Fall of the Gods arc. The Absolute Universe loves small, character-driven stories, where Veronica Cale isn't just a villain, but a symbol of corruption. She exploits every connection, old allies, stolen technology, even secrets from Themyscira. The ultimate goal? Destroy superheroes like Wonder Woman, preserving the old order where villains like Veronica hold absolute power. That's the spirit of Absolute Evil. Not to conquer the world, but to crush those who dare challenge the status quo. And then, just as Wonder Woman is turning the tables using her lasso of truth to force Dr. Poison to reveal his true form, the comic abruptly cuts to Barbara Minerva, aka Cheetah. Oh, and this time, Cheetah isn't just a bloodthirsty stray cat. She's digging up an ancient relic, a cursed totem from the time of the Greek gods. And guess what? It's directly related to Amazonian origins. Is Cheetah the lost sister Wonder Woman is looking for, or just another beast waiting to devour? Of course, everyone there has Wonder Woman's permission. They're not just wandering in. Steve Trevor is there, along with the allies she's made since the first arc we discussed. The Gateway City soldiers, a few former Tetracide henchmen who've turned on them, and even a ghost Amazon or two from Themyscira's memories. But the focus here is Wonder Woman performing an ancient ritual, a sort of bridge between the underworld and the human world. She kneels, draws a line across her palm with her giant sword, and whispers, "I offer my blood in gratitude and invoking your blessing upon this sacred site. As it was meant to be, so it shall be." And boom, the magic activates. Each Greek god appears in a glowing phantasmagoria, blessing the group. This place hums with your warmth, your strength. I will not let you down, damn. Diana is the crossroads death and magic intertwined. Athena, wisdom in battle and beyond, gives her the sharpness to see through deception. Artemis, the wildness inside us all, awakens her predatory instincts, so she is never caught off guard. Hestia, the fire of family, loyalty above all else, strengthens her bonds with allies. Aphrodite, love and passion, the desire for life itself, reminds her that even in the underworld, Diana yearns for connection. Demeter, dear, earth, and life, mother of us all, makes the wilderness of Gateway City feel more alive, no longer a foreign place to her. And finally, Hera, queen of the gods, eye of the future, whispers vague prophecies about the lost sisters Diana still hunts. I come to you as Diana, daughter of the sorceress, Circe, witch of the Wild Island, the last of the Amazons you love. I am your weapon for truth and justice. Your will shall be done. The oath is more than just a ritual. It opens a kind of magical staircase, a secret passageway, leading to the relic, or relic, as in the lore absolute, an ancient artifact from the time the gods were overthrown. The goal? To create a true base of operations for Wonder Woman, a subterranean cavern beneath Gateway City, where she can plan, train allies, and most importantly, keep track of greater threats. No more wandering. Now Diana has a home base to fight the darkness. But as soon as the ritual ends, a familiar howl echoes through the air, the sound of Tetracide, the monster she thought she had destroyed. It returns not as flesh and bone, but as an echo, a hypnotic echo that lingers in the air. Diana follows it, and bingo, tiny mechanical spiders, glistening with metal and toxins, are crawling all over the cave. They are definitely the work of Dr. Poison's spy devices, designed to record and replicate the howl, turning it into a weapon of mass mind control. Of course, the trail leads straight to Poison, and when Diana confronts him, things don't play out as usual. Dr. Poison is really interesting here. Kelly Thompson has taken the character to another level. Instead of being the classic B-list Wonder Woman villain, remember, the original was a chemical madman from World War II, and Absolute turned her into a sentient cloud of poison gas, an immaterial entity that wanders around like a toxic ghost. Thompson turns Poison into a gray, scheming figure. Wonder Woman rushes in, lasso of truth wrapped around her, but Poison doesn't panic or attack right away. She or it, because it's gas now, just calmly introduces herself. "Princess, you'll want to hear from me." And then, the twist. I know where you can find an Amazon warrior. From the start, Poison approaches as a reluctant ally, not a raging enemy, but someone who knows too much about Diana's secrets, about Circe, about the destroyed Themyscira, about the remaining Amazons. She's working for Veronica Cale, the Gates Agency boss, the manipulator from Absolute Evil, but has her own agenda. Cloning Tetracide's howl isn't for destruction, but for protection, or at least, that's what Poison claims. Wonder Woman, suspicious, grabs Poison's gas-filled suit and dangles it out the window of the base, threatening to drop it. Poison's response? "Yeah, I don't want you to hit me because this suit has gas in it. If you throw me out the window, it'll leak out and kill everyone." It's a climactic moment. Poison uses her own poison as a shield, not to attack, but to protect innocent life, or at least that's what it sounds like. It makes Diana flinch, forces her to listen. Poison isn't pure evil. She's Cale's victim, used to create a weapon, and now seeks to turn the tables by revealing the location of a living Amazon. But is it a trap? Or does Poison really want to ally herself against Veronica Cale, who's gathering power to crush all superheroes? Absolute Wonder Woman loves these layers, not simple heroes versus villains, but a web of lies where everyone has their own motives. So Wonder Woman cast a spell to send the spiders back to hell. In the process, she continued to search for the Amazon warrior according to the coordinates given by Dr. Poison. She pulled out a piece of paper, like in a Harry Potter book, then cast another spell to open a door in the wall, and walked through. Now, things became more interesting than ever, because she had entered a maze. Dr. Poison had warned her about this place. It was a maze without an exit, not like the usual mazes with a clear exit. When the entrance closed behind her, all hope seemed lost, unless someone strong enough to pull the trapped person out. Wonder Woman immediately cast a spell on the wall, creating her own exit, and began to explore the entire dark, winding space. As she moved, she suddenly witnessed a Minotaur facing the fisherman. Anyone familiar with Wonder Woman has some idea of the situation, but if you haven't, we'll clarify. Even Wonder Woman is momentarily confused. She notes that it's hard to tell the difference between attackers and defenders. The fishermen are completely helpless against the power of the Minotaur, who is crushing them and tearing them apart. Wonder Woman activates her lasso and declares, "Nemesis, grant me clarity through your flame of truth." She wraps the lasso around the Minotaur. One major difference between Wonder Woman's Nemesis lasso and a traditional lasso of truth is its effects. The lasso of truth forces the person bound to tell the truth, and only a strong will can break it. The lasso of Nemesis, on the other hand, inflicts intense pain proportional to the victim's sins, much like the penitent stare of Ghost Rider. That's why she said it would bring him to his knees or prove his innocence. Because the Minotaur didn't writhe in pain or scream for mercy on the cold stone floor, Wonder Woman realized he wasn't evil. He was good. She apologized. "Sorry, my friend, I don't know what's going on, but you're holding my axe." Perhaps the news had also affected her words. In the middle of the confrontation with the fisherman, the Minotaur explained that they wanted Petra. Wonder Woman didn't understand what that meant at first. It was only when the Minotaur pointed it out that she realized Petra was a mermaid, dying but still letting out a loud, surprisingly powerful scream. In fact, Wonder Woman quickly took control of the situation by activating the power of the Nemesis lasso. The screams that echoed from Petra, the dying mermaid, spread like invisible waves, causing the fishermen to fall to their knees on the wet stone floor, their bodies trembling from the destructive force of the sound. As the fight broke out, Wonder Woman swung the glittering metal lasso, wrapping it tightly around her attackers. She declared clearly, "You have only tasted the power of the Nemesis lasso, but it is exposing the sin in your hearts. Let it punish you more than you deserve. Come closer, I beg you." Those words echoed in the cramped space, causing the fishermen to retreat in panic, their figures disappearing into the winding darkness of the maze. Ferdinand, the shaggy-haired Minotaur with the curved horns, turned to Wonder Woman and whispered, "We must leave now. I hear the footsteps of more of the mermen approaching. They will gather in greater numbers and intensify their attack." However, the mystery still loomed. Where they came from, why Ferdinand was wandering here, and why Petra had lost her way in this labyrinth in the first place. Wonder Woman offered to accompany her, and Ferdinand nodded in agreement, his voice hoarse. "Thank you for your timely intervention." He introduced himself, then led the way through the moss-covered stone corridors. When she asked for a specific destination, he replied, "If we are sure we have cut them off, I have a hideout they have not yet discovered." Wonder Woman continued, "How long have you been here?" Ferdinand only whispered, "I have always been here." She remarked that it was sad, but he shook his head. "When that's all you know, it's easier to bear. How do you know what you've lost if you never had it in the first place?" As they continued moving through the cliffs, which shimmered with dim light from the cracks, Wonder Woman asked, "I've heard there's an Amazon warrior hidden in this maze. Did you know that?" Ferdinand nodded. "It's said that Clea is an Amazon, though I've only seen proof of her power." Wonder Woman had never heard of Clea, and Ferdinand explained that she was the monster who ruled the maze, relentlessly hunting Petra. Suddenly, a majestic figure emerged from the darkness with a glittering crown and flowing robes. "That's Queen Clea." Her voice was sharp. "You always talk so rudely, Ferdinand, after I've been warned by your screams. We'll put an end to this, so I never have to think about you again." Wonder Woman immediately realized Clea was not an Amazon warrior. In the DC universe, Queen Clea was actually the ruler of the lost kingdom of Atlantis. While my knowledge of the character was limited, I knew she used to force male warriors to fight in bloody arenas, similar to the ancient gladiator games, a motif that appeared in the very first issue of Wonder Woman, specifically the 8th issue. Over the decades, her role evolved, but she remained Wonder Woman's consistent villain, despite her Atlantean lineage. I don't see any significant confrontations between her and Aquaman, and I'll leave the more detailed discussion to those who know the character well. When Ferdinand and Wonder Woman are cornered in their mission to protect Petra, They use the tight terrain, sharp cliffs, and winding passages to repel Clea's men, holding them back with precise strikes. The odds aren't in their favor though. Clea knows the labyrinth like the back of her hand, while Wonder Woman is a newcomer, and Ferdinand, while fierce, leans more on brute strength than subtle strategy. The confrontation escalated when Queen Clea, her eyes flashing with anger under her glittering crown, ordered her servants to assemble a giant crossbow from bent metal rods and taut cables. They fired the first shot, the massive arrow whizzing through the humid air of the labyrinth, piercing Ferdinand's shoulder, causing crimson blood to spurt from the open wound, and his body staggered to the rough stone floor. That moment of distraction was a golden opportunity. Wonder Woman rushed forward, her arms firmly wrapped around Petra, her iridescent scales now dulled by exhaustion, and then dashed through the winding corridors, their silhouettes blending into the thick fog before Clea's angry scream could echo. At this point, the story shifts to a key element, appearing suddenly like a ray of light piercing the darkness, which is actually a flashback, illustrating that the Greek gods were clearly aware of the darkness that pervaded the absolute universe, where justice is bent and darkness swallows light. The flashback reveals the moment when Wonder Woman was a little girl, stepping out of the caves of Themyscira with her small, delicate armor gleaming in the golden sunlight, the metal pieces carved by her mother and the Amazons, hugging her young but determined body. Suddenly, a black panther burst out from the thick bushes, its jet black fur gleaming under the lush green foliage, its bright yellow eyes flashing mischievously as it circled her, its claws lightly scraping the wet ground in a teasing challenge. So guys, that's it for now. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Love you.